Hi, I'm Gia Mills, and for the past 20 years, I have been a celebrity makeup artist, and I am fascinated by the power of makeup and beauty. On True Reflections, you get to peek behind the curtain and find out what your favourite celebrity really feels about their appearance when the glare is upon them. My guest today is our first male guest as we start opening up the conversation on male beauty as well as female beauty. You will know him from touring the comedy circuits on stage and TV with his new tour, How Revolting, Sorry to Offend. I'm delighted to welcome to True Reflections, Milo Edwards.
Hello, it's me, your favourite celebrity.
Hello, favourite celebrity.
I can only presume I'm the number one male celebrity, as I'm the first male guest, so I'm pleased to accept that particular trophy. Thank you.
You are, Milo, my very first male guest, and it's wonderful because I get to ask the things I wanted to ask, but I've been too afraid to ask men in a normal setting. Because I don't really sit down and go, what foundations or what moisturisers do you
Ever
use?
since we were kept apart in sex ed at age 13,
Yes.
These questions have been brewing. Yeah.
They have. And
what was the PE teacher saying to us? Let's find out.
Let's find out. ... Right. So, first question I really want to ask you is: have you ever worn makeup?
Not habitually. I feel like I have for some kind of like dress up purpose. Oh, and when I used to be on TV in Russia, they would put makeup on us.
Oh, yes.
For the cameras. Yeah.
So did they put a lot, was it like, right, we're going to put a lot of makeup on you and there's strong cameras? Did you kind of feel weird having it on your face?
I didn't know, because I kind of just saw it as part of the job. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been, I don't know if this comes across from my vibe, but I've never been the most aggressively masculine person. So
Okay.
I wasn't particularly threatened by the makeup. And then, I don't think I had any makeup on for years until I went on Jeremy Vine's show on Channel 5. So that was me reconnecting with my femininity.
They have a lot of makeup on that. I've seen the people when they come off air, and it's like they are literally orange.
Yeah, the makeup girls were actually a great asset because they were really briefing me on who the other panellists were
Yes.
and who I needed to be careful of.
Makeup artists are great. We get to hear all the gossip in a nice way, and we're very careful how we divulge it out because it's your job and you don't want to be saying the wrong things. But it's a position of power.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that. They were sort
powerful.
of secretly running the place, pulling the strings. Yeah.
Yes, we are actually. I like to say that. So, what I'm curious about, women, when they get to sort of early teens, they start really disliking their bodies. Men, on the other hand, see their bodies as incredible pieces of equipment. They can run, they can stretch, they can, make things. Women, on the other hand, see their bodies very much as, does it look nice? Am I thin enough? Will someone find me attractive? How did you, when growing up, how did you see your body as a man?
Good question. I don't think I ever saw it as an incredible piece of equipment. I don't know. I don't think I ever got there. I was never the most athletic person.
Okay.
I'm sort of reasonably fit now, but that's kind of something I've come to like as like a late teenager and an adult. I was always pretty crap at sport and stuff at school and what have you.
Did you ever think about your body? Was it something you were like, oh, this is a really important factor, or my appearance within my community, or was it something you didn't really consider so much?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I went to school in Essex, so it was pretty savage. I think everyone developed a few complexes about their appearance throughout that. And I definitely wasn't one of the super popular kids at school. So I definitely had my fair share of that, although probably not as much as the girls did.
Yeah.
But what I think's fascinating now is that I have this theory that like so much of what gender equality has done in many ways is not so much take these anxieties away from women, which is what it should have done, but rather give them to men. And so I now have so many like male friends and acquaintances who have what I would describe as a female level of appearance anxiety.
Okay.
And I'm like, how have you contracted this? This isn't being marketed at you. Like when women have it, I'm like, of course, because of the way society is structured, you're being made to feel this way. But when men, I'm like, you've given this to yourself. What's happened?
So how is this playing itself out?
A lot of it is skincare. I have some male friends who are very obsessive about skincare. And as soon as someone starts talking to me about skincare, it's like explaining the rules of a card game. If there's more than one step, I'm like, absolutely not.
Because what products do you use on your skin?
Moisturizer.
Moisturizer.
Yeah.
And I've seen when you in your notes that people tell you all the time you need to use SPF, so you actually think, gosh, I really should be using something. You have been henpecked in a certain way to be told I should be putting SPF on my face.
Yeah, but I judge that on a vibes basis. Like if it's sunny and hot, I'll do that. But if it's like a cloudy day in winter, I'm like, this cannot possibly be necessary. I refuse to drink the Kool-Aid on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, SPF is for when the sun is bright.
But it's so it does seem that men are still, I think when I look at society and I see statistics, because I'm quite involved in the beauty industry, men historically have been very unengaged, but it seems like that it is changing. And you're saying that is actually playing out at the moment. You're hearing a lot more men get involved in it. Do you see then a lot more anxiety with them in their appearance? Are they getting more worried about, do I look the right way?
I think so, yes. I don't think it's reached parity. Like I think it is still less so amongst men, but I think I've definitely noticed it getting worse. I think it's almost as though the businesses, the message they've taken away from this is like, actually we can do this to men as well. That's a good idea, feminism. We weren't thinking about that before. You're right, men and women are the same and they can be exploited in the same way.
It's just fear. All you do is create fear and in comparison, and that you're not good enough. That's the marketing tool that women have been bashed on the head with for donkey's years, and you can start giving that to men. But I think you guys, in the nicest way, have got thicker skin, ironically, and it doesn't quite.
Sorry, don't need SPF.
Exactly, it doesn't quite permeate as deeply into your psyche, and I think also women, it's still very much we are judged more on our appearance because we know that they're deep down, a man will find a woman more aesthetically attractive from an outside point of view, whereas women looking for security and etc. And they're like, can the man make me feel safe? So it's lesser of like, do you look like I want to kind of grab you and kiss you, or are you going to help me keep my house safe and my children safe? So I think that's a very fundamental thing which will keep it slightly never on a parity.
Well, I think also like for men who are like adults now, this is something that's been a relatively recent development. Whereas if you're a woman, you've had it your entire life. So I think it's necessarily would have had less of an impact on them. But it's sort of interesting to see where it's going. I find it fascinating how I think every element of social progress ultimately gets sort of hijacked in service of some kind of big business thing.
Yeah.
I think this unfortunately is going to be one of them.
Well, there will be in marketing departments, all in big cities, all going, right, how do we get the men? Because we know that there's a disposable income for the men, but how are we going to target them and get more money out of them? And I think it is growing that whole market. And I do worry because I don't want men to be feeling the way that women feel under pressure to buy all these things, to do to feel that they have to look a certain way. Would you ever do Botox?
Would I ever do Botox? I can honestly say I've never considered it. People have mentioned it to me, including men, and I've been quite. It just really feels something that like Joan Collins would do. It doesn't even. It's sort of, I think, because there's something else I've noticed is that I feel like more of my like female friends and acquaintances are doing beauty things which I think of as like more extreme, like things that are not like creams, ointments, makeup, whatever, but things like filler, Botox. Like kind of stuff that was more associated with sort of like intense celebrity before and is now becoming kind of commonplace. And I think it's been like really normalized on Instagram and stuff.
It's terrifying. Do you look at a woman who has the mega lips, the crazy eyelashes and go, oh, that's nice? Or is it not a look that you feel that, because I don't know what men think about all those looks.
Well, I don't know if I can't do a survey of men. I mean, that was a popular look in Russia, let me tell you.
Okay. Because you spent a lot of time in Russia and you did comedy in Russia.
Yeah. I lived in Moscow for 3 years, and that's definitely like an intense like beauty culture. It's like women wearing high heels to the shops, like kind of level of, even like old ladies are always like full face of makeup, fur coat. Like it's very kind of
the glam culture.
Yeah, and I think if you, as a woman there, if you don't look a certain way, like other women will like chastise you for it.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
What about
definitely.
the men?
Well, men I think men very much like they value appearances there, and like it's very sort of they're not very into a kind of like lo-fi beauty, if you like. But it's interesting, I found there how much of it came from other women, and I also found that quite often when I would talk to Russian women, something they would bring up independently, and usually men wouldn't bring up, was they would complain about feminists. because they knew I was from the UK, so they'd like heard that like there was like more feminism in the West already, and then you'd get like, oh, j'étais féministe, like, you know, and then I'm like, why are you like, they want me to like validate some like hatred of feminists that they had.
That's so interesting. So they've gone the other way. So because we sit here talking in a sort of very Western view of the world, that you have to kind of accept your body and like your body almost as it is, and in the UK we don't like to wear too much makeup because that means you're trying too hard and you're not being sort of standing up as a woman. So Russia's completely opposite to that.
Well, I think rather than they've gone the other way, I think they've come less far this way.
Okay.
I think they're kind of, well, because Russia's such an interesting country because it's sort of like, it's feudal until 1917. It's properly like you're a peasant and you're owned by the lord. And then suddenly it's communism, like everyone's equal, scare quotes. And they never really resolved all of their social problems. But particularly as regards gender dynamics, Russia's really interesting because they had total notional equality under communism. Like there was no job that a woman wasn't allowed to have. Like it was because it's like ideologically communist to be like men and women are the same, everyone's a worker. But on the other hand, their in social mores are like incredibly conservative. So it's sort of like in the workplace in Russia, it's quite common and has been common for a long time for there to be like female doctors, female lawyers, like whatever, in the same way that it is here, and possibly even like for longer than it has been here. But in the home, it's like really the 50s. It's very like men are like this, women do the housework, like except they also have to have a job, so it's even worse.
God, I mean, when do women ever get it easy? But that's interesting in Russia, and so I guess there was huge amounts of pressure for the women to look a certain way, and I wonder kind of, and do you think that's going to change anytime soon, or that is the sort of, it's still very much they're not anti, but they're not pro-feminist, and they like that kind of, you know, position where they are in the sort of gender hierarchy?
I think it depends on the media culture, really. I mean, like, obviously, I'm speaking from a perspective of I haven't been to Russia since 2019, so it's possible that it's changed a bit since then. And obviously, there were always a healthy proportion of young people who were like switched on about this stuff and like not like that. But there was just a prevailing culture that was quite different to here. And I think because of the way their political system is structured and it's very authoritarian, and the media is heavily controlled by the government, and I think the government sees these socially conservative things as like an important axis of their power. Like if they can keep people being like, right, I hate the gays, I hate the feminists, like whatever, it's quite a good way of being like, that's what the West is like, where everything is like, they talk about like, you know, Gniushi Zapad, like the decaying West, the rotting West.
So they're very good at their propaganda against us, as we are, I guess, to them. But you've also spent time in Australia.
Yes, I have.
So what's the aesthetic like in Australia? Is there, you know, are they into the fillers and the beauty there, and the beautiful men, the Chris Hemsworth? Does everyone look like Chris Hemsworth?
Crikey, yeah. I feel like you're describing Sydney. I kind of, what I find interesting about Australia is it's so different depending on where you go. I mean, there are commonalities, but I've spent a lot more time in Melbourne than anywhere else, and I felt quite at home there. It's quite
British in Melbourne.
Yeah,
More British.
It's quite European. Like people go out late and stuff, and then you go to Sydney and it's like everyone's going to bed early. They're running shirtless in the park at 6 a.m. Like, you know, everyone's like going to the gym and then to the beach. No one drinks. Everyone's on like kale smoothies or whatever. And I'm like, this is crazy. I can't be doing this.
But it's good, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. You smoke a cigarette and people look like you've just spat in their face. It's like...
But they tend to the men tend to be quite obsessed. I remember when I'm half Australian. I remember going there when I was really young and hearing about men in Australia who had pec implants. And I used to see them and I was like, how can you? It's like, you know, boob jobs for men, but it's pec implants.
How far we've come as a society. Boob jobs for men. There we go.
Did you ever encounter the sort of the weirdness of how men can have sort of beauty things in Australia, or it just passed you by?
There's something very funny to me about the idea of a man getting a boob job, but not as part of any kind of gender transition, but rather to affirm the gender he currently is. Like, I need the correct amount of boob for a man to have. There's something very funny about that.
I know, yes. A bead job.
Yes.
Boob job, yes. No, and so no tattoos, no sort of enhancements have been had. With Milo.
I'm not against tattoos, but I have never been sure enough about wanting anything that I feel like I wouldn't get sick of.
It's quite a commitment.
Yeah, it is a commitment.
I've always wanted to.
And like all men, I can't commit to anything.
Really? I've always thought it'd be quite funny to have a tattoo that sort of is a bit of a joke, like having an arrow somewhere and saying, you know, do not enter. I don't, things like that could be quite amusing.
Yeah.
But then the joke would wear thin very quickly. And I kind of just wanted to last for like 6 months as a humorous thing, but something not to last very long. Because I guess being in comedy, you could do something quite amusing.
Yeah, maybe. I did joke. This show that I'm touring at the moment, actually, there's a bit about getting a temporary tattoo on my arse. And I was joking with friends that if I won the Edinburgh Comedy Award, I would get it tattooed on my arse. But I made that joke in the fairly safe knowledge that wasn't going to happen. So
Can you do it again next year, just in case you're up for next year?
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be quite good. But I think, you know, with men also, as we were talking about, often women are very fixated on appearance to be attractive. Men, the best way to get a woman into bed is to make her laugh, as we know. So you naturally, have the way to be attractive, because humour is, as all the research says. Tell me about the tour. What's more about what you're talking about?
The tour's good. We're about a third of the way through, I guess. About to do a big run in the next week or so. The show is about it's framed around this story about getting this temporary tattoo on my arse and the consequences of that. But the show is really about kind of the class system in Britain and how we construct it. And I think it's sort of interesting how we're sort of the only country on earth where class is like decoupled from like material reality. It's sort of like, you know, how do you behave? What do you sound like? Who are your parents? It's like very little about, you know, how much like money or power that you have.
It's a really subtle, unless you are in England, you do not know the subtlety. Like someone foreign will come here and they will not get, oh yes, I know where they went to school. I kind of know where they might have, you know, what, you know so much about someone very quickly in a class way, which isn't a great thing, but it's just a funny thing to observe.
Yeah, when I have a complicated relationship with it myself, because sometimes I go to America and I'm like, well, all you care about is people who are rich, and I'm like, and some of these rich people could do with being taken down a peg by a sort of aristocrat. But it is obviously like, for me, I mean, I grew up in Essex, but I sound like I was raised on the set of Newsnight, so I get called posh all the time.
Yeah,
and it's kind of complicated for me because I'm like, well, my family call me posh, but that sort of means that I'm not posh, because it just means that they're like, oh Christ, he's speaking normal. What's wrong with him? And so there's this disconnect, I think, between our perception and reality with class, which is what I try and unpick in a funny way in the show.
Nice. I like that, because I find that in England, you know, I sound like I'm posh as well, and I don't think I'm posh, and when I hear my voice I'm like, oh my god, I sound really posh, and I am not aware of it, and it's kind of a weird thing in England.
You're breaking this to the listeners of your podcast. People's monocles are falling from their eyes.
More monocles. I like that. Very good for from the posh thing. But it is a funny thing about one's voice, and again, attractiveness. It's not just about appearance. When you open your mouth, it can have such an effect on how people perceive you, and they layer so many different preconceived ideas about you on your voice, and they think, oh, you've either come from loads of money and whatever, or not, by how you talk, and which is never necessarily the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember when they started making David Beckham into a sex symbol, and they made him talk different. You can't keep talking like that, David. People aren't going to take you seriously, mate.
And the girls aren't going to fancy you.
Yeah. It's hard. You know, it's hard to get past that.
There is a pitch. There is an absolute pitch where a man's voice, it starts being attractive, and if it goes too high, then they're not. But again, that falls back to, do you feel protected? Is he, you know, that sort of depth of strength of voice? I think women's is a bit more flexible. I can sort of talk with a little girl's voice and sort of be, you know, and then I can go, hi, darling. You can do all the different voices. But it's all attractiveness, isn't it?
Yeah. Should I say which one is more attractive?
Please do. Well, actually, it could be interesting.
I think probably somewhere in the middle.
So, Milo, I've just put a little bit of tinted moisturiser on you, one side of your face. For those that can't see, let's see if there's a reaction. From Milo, can you see one side of the face and the other? Does there seem to be a difference?
It's a little bit shinier on that side, I would say.
It looks a bit more hydrated.
Yeah.
And does it feel like makeup?
Well, I mean, I can feel something on my face, but it's probably not dry yet. So,
But I think it's whether men actually think, you know, I've done we were talking, I've done loads of men's makeup, but a lot of men on the red carpet have a lot of glam done, but it's about the subtlety, because with women it's fine to show they're wearing makeup, men not so. So how would you feel if I was doing your makeup and put a little bit of that sort of, that's what I'd probably put on you because you've got annoyingly perfect skin.
Well, I think it's not very noticeable, so I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have the luxury, I don't think, on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
sometimes
more skincare than if ever. More skincare, definitely never makeup.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about definitely never, but I'm just quite lazy. So if there's an easy option, I will take it. And for me, like with touring at the moment, it's like very kind of like everything is at like a bare minimum level. But yeah, it'd be great to be traveling with a makeup artist, support act, manager.
Because I massage your hair and sort of make you feel all relaxed. And
I won't turn down a head massage. Yeah, absolutely. When's that bit of the podcast?
But it's so much nicer because a guy, if you whenever women go on stage, it's like, oh, okay. The whole palaver of getting ready. What do you do just before you go on stage?
I do dress a bit differently if I know I have a gig or like a media appearance or whatever. But then mostly before going on stage, I'm just like getting my stuff together. Like if I have notes or water or getting my recorder ready, that's pretty much it. Really.
But there's none of the faff.
Sorry, not that kind of recorder, like recording the show.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, is that part of your show?
I'm recorder-based comedian. Coming out like good. Who likes Three Blind Mice? Yeah.
Yeah. So Milo, anyone who's listening, he's not going to get his recorder out when you go and see him in his tour. He will be. It is all about. I love the topic about the sort of the poshness of Britain and the sort of nuances, and I think there's going to be great stuff. And where are you going in the next couple of weeks? Where can people find you?
I am. When is this out?
This out in I don't know, probably about 2-3 weeks.
Okay, 2-3 weeks, crikey.
Or maybe before then.
I reckon. Okay, what I've got coming up is Sheffield, Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Edinburgh, Glasgow, London. I think is actually sold out.
Good memory.
Bath, Bristol, Birmingham. I think there's some other stuff.
You've got
that I'm
a really
probably
good tour.
Forgetting. Yeah,
this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've already done quite a few. So.
Well, I've loved watching your Instagram, and anyone who's feeling a bit low and the world's a bit depressing right now, they just need to go on your Instagram and have a good chuckle because it really lifted my spirits the other day. I was like, oh, Monday morning, and then I watched loads of your clips, and I was like, oh, I feel better now, right?
Oh, excellent. Well, that's good. That's what we aim for. Yeah, make up for the soul.
Laughter is the most attractive thing.
Yeah,
making somebody laugh. It's very very
good. That's what I aim for. So check out Glue Factory, I guess, would be my other recommendation, which is the podcast that you enjoyed the clips of. I enjoyed the clips of. So yes. So Milo, thank you very much. My pleasure. It has been an absolute joy to meet. A massive thank you to Milo Edwards. To see his new tour, visit www.miloedwards.co.uk and at Milo_Edwards on Instagram for more information. That's it for True Reflections this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. You can find me across your social media by searching at True Reflections Podcast. I'll be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, favourite products, and delve deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearance, but the core of our identities. Until then, have a lovely week.